Hi everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast on the Lara and Zoe frequency. So that's Zoe. I'm Lara. So hello.
Hello.
So this is our second episode that we're doing, and we
Mm.
decided that we wanted to talk about meditation and what meditation is, what's going on in our brain, a bit of the history, our own experience, and just have a lovely chilled chat
Yeah,
about,
and kind of demystify it a little bit, I think,
yeah, absolutely.
because there's a lot of, for want of a better expression, urban myths around
Mhm.
meditation. And when I first was kind of thinking about one, and I think I probably should start meditating, trying to
Mhm.
pick through what it is and how it helps and different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I actually found quite challenging to the point where I actually went and did a course on how to become a meditation teacher so as I could teach myself how to meditate
Brilliant.
because I found all the information out there so confusing and sometimes opposing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess really my experience is that there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Just got to
No, well,
do
it's
what's good for you.
exactly. And it's your own experience, isn't it? You're
Yeah,
turning inwards on yourself. So it's what works for you, not what works for
not
other
right for
people.
anybody. And I
So,
think that was the biggest misnomer, or the biggest misnomer I find around meditation is people think it's about completely emptying
yeah.
their mind.
Hmm.
And then everybody goes, well, I can't do that. I can't possibly switch my mind off. Hey, not a very spicy person here. I'm never going to be able to do that either. But it's not about that.
Hmm.
It's about bringing your attention to the moment that you're in, one way or
Yeah.
another, and whichever way works for you, so
Yeah.
that you can reach that sort of theta or even sometimes gamma state of
Yes.
brainwave.
Yeah. Well, so you can't silence your mind though.
No,
Like there is, even if you think I'm going to think nothing, you're either thinking of like a blank wall or the word nothing, or like,
yeah,
there
it's
is
not
no way.
possible to think nothing. Or
No.
well, maybe for some people it is, um, but I don't find it possible to do that. There is always something going on up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But what I can do is intentionally make myself very present in here and now
Hmm.
rather than thinking about, oh, I wonder what I'm going to get Rosie for Christmas. Or I've forgotten to pay the children's school dinner money, so I
Yeah.
must do that. Or and I didn't text the neighbour back about the bins. So actually bringing my focus into me,
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
me, and what's happening right now is still a challenge, but
Yeah.
where it's at.
I found the thing that helps me with that is because it's going to happen when you give your brain time to just, relax. Things are going to start whirring. But what I've tried to do is I thank that thought that's come
Yeah.
in, and I'm like, I'm going to put you in a little filing cabinet. Here we go. Slot you in. Thank you very much for coming. Here we go. And then I try to think about the color blue. And that really brings me back to the moment. It's either the color blue or like a breath pattern that will bring me back to where I need to be. And that really anchors me in. Because if I try to think like, oh, where was I? What was I doing? Then that starts me on another train of
Oh
thoughts.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
I do the same. I thank my brain for being so clever, right? Because I did go through a spell of telling myself off, like, "Oh, Zoe,
Yeah,
why are you? Come on, focus."
yeah,
And that doesn't then that disrupts that peaceful state that you're trying to achieve. And so I now say, "Thank you, brain. Please remind me of that in 10 minutes time."
yes, yes,
Or
yeah,
please remind me of that once I've finished the meditation. And then I I bring my attention back to my breath.
Yeah.
It's always my breath, whether it's the rhythm of it or the
Hmm.
feeling of it coming in and out of my lungs as it goes in my nose and out my mouth. How does that feel? Um, and I think that that does make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you said, it's that focus and that attention, isn't it?
Mm,
It's the what you're training your brain to focus on one thing at one time and not a million things at once, just that one thing, which you can then apply to real life. So I think when people are like, I'm really good at meditating, I'm so calm when I'm meditating, it's like, great, but then, in the real
yeah,
world, like, how do
yeah,
you apply that? Like, no, it brings me a sense of awareness in the real world to how I'm behaving or kind of focusing my mind, especially with having ADHD. It gives me that kind of, okay, if I just focus on my breath for 1 second, I can try and then think about one thing or, that kind of training. So, yeah. And as we said at the start, there is no right or wrong with it.
mm.
No.
And I think it helps like as you bring it into that daily life. I mean, you'll be able to talk about from a scientific point of view the effects on like the prefrontal cortex and things,
Yeah.
but it does help if you because my understanding is that the brain is obviously continually rewiring itself, and
Mhm.
that state of meditation strengthens those neural pathways. It
Yeah.
does, it's proven.
Yeah.
So it can help with decision making and
Yeah.
self-control and executive function.
Yeah.
And if you are neurosparkly, executive function is one of the things you can really struggle with,
Yeah.
or decision paralysis
Mhm.
again. So, um, although it's probably harder for people who are neurodiverse to meditate, the
Mhm.
benefit,
Oh, it's
conversely,
huge.
once you can practice it on a regular basis, is magnified and amplified.
Yeah.
Because it really does help your brain pathways, which are under so much stress and strain anyway.
Mm. Well, they thought for a while before they figured out neuroplasticity that the brain was fixed. So from a certain age, there was no more rewiring the brain and no more changing things. So what was going on in the brain at this point, that was it. You got your lot and there was no changing it. And then they figured out neuroplasticity and they saw the brain rewiring and different electrical signals going on. And they realized, oh, yeah, you can rewire, you can change. So, for things like panic attacks, or for example, people with autism, like planning, future planning for them in a highly stressful situation. So, one of my clients was starting a new job and they were really panicking about getting to this new job. And I was like, okay, right, close your eyes. We're going to think about the route you're going to take to get to this new job. And before we even get in the car, we're going to think about what you're going to do before you leave the house. Put your coat on, get the keys, do all of that, get in the car, turn the keys in the car. And I took them throughout their entire route to get to work to then be like, okay, you're there. Do you want to repeat this every single time we talk? And they're like, yeah. And that's how we got them over the anxiety because of that meditation process of being and that visualization. So that almost rewiring the brain before it was an even like physical thing, before it was
Yeah,
even wired, they'd already like jumped ahead a
yeah,
couple of processes. It was fascinating.
yeah. It almost brings them out of panic mode, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many like incredible things that happens like with the brain whilst it's going through. As you mentioned, like self-regulation,
Mm,
attention, executive functioning as well, decision making, emotional regulation as well, and the link to memory. Meditation really helps kind of bring the person back to the now so their body feels safer, so they're then able to emotionally regulate because then they're remembering that they're not in that dangerous
mhm,
situation. For someone like I used to get really bad panic attacks from PTSD
mhm,
from an abusive relationship, and my body did not feel safe. Still sometimes doesn't, but didn't feel safe for a very long time. So I had to go through, I chose to go through a process of meditation and like this pendulum
Mm.
task that I used, and I'm going to explain it, but um, if anyone's going to try it, only try it in a space where they feel safe and they've got someone else around them because it can send you off into another thing. But it was pendulating between the situation, what went on in the past, and then a situation where I feel safe and bringing my body from that space in my head to that safe space and then rewiring and linking the two. And being able to do that through meditation was just like, so yeah,
Okay.
the brain is just so clever the way that well, clever and sometimes reckless. But if we if we give it the attention, it can be
Well, we
really
don't really
beautiful.
understand how it all works. That's the thing. As science gets us so far
Hmm.
with understanding meditation, but we still can't really explain consciousness
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
Consciousness of thought and whether consciousness of thought and reality are the same or different.
Because it's
And
just an
that's where this,
assumption.
yeah, and that's where spirituality comes into play for me. Is science? It answers like the how, like
Hmm.
it tells you what the so when you lift the hood on your car, the
Yeah.
bonnet on your car, you can have a look underneath and you can check the oil pressure and you can see the pistons going up and down, and that's how, right?
It's the mechanics. Yeah.
Doesn't tell you why.
No. And I think this is going to be quite a risky thing to say, but I think that's where science fails.
Yeah,
Is it doesn't bring in the why, the mysticism, the magic of it. It explains, and it explains what we think because no one has been able to prove thought. They've been able to prove an electrical signal,
yeah,
but not a thought. We've never been able to see someone's thought,
no.
which is just, yeah. So there's a lot to be said for science, but there's a lot more that we need to
There's a
learn.
lot more that is still unexplained, and
Hmm.
that's the beauty of the human experience. It's
Yeah.
figuring it out and learning it for yourself.
Yeah. Do you know what I find fascinating is people that can't visualize? Because there's people that you say to them, like, think of a apple. And for some people, they see a cartoon apple. Some people see a real apple. Some people taste an apple. Some people see the word apple. Some people see, like, they're like hearing apple, but they can't see any of the other stuff. I find that fascinating. So there's people that I've had in classes where you take them on this lovely journey and, visualize this and that and this and that. And they get to the end and they're like, I saw nothing. Your
Yeah,
words were calming, but no.
no.
Yeah.
And for them, a meditation that focuses on being physically present in their body is probably the way to go,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I
Full
mean,
body scans and things like
I
that.
love I love a visual meditation, but it doesn't work for everyone.
No, no.
And I find at different times, different senses within me will be more awake than others. So
Hmm.
whether that's me meditating or whether it's me, say, doing mediumship with a reading,
Ah,
sometimes I will see things,
mhm.
sometimes I will hear things, sometimes it's just projected into my head as a thought.
Yeah,
I will just know something.
yeah.
Sometimes I will taste it, sometimes I will smell it.
Hmm.
Um, and like sometimes they'll tell me that they were a smoker. Sometimes I'll just smell smoke.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I will see them holding a cigarette. But it can be completely different each time I
Mm-hmm.
experience that. And I think we all have to be prepared to go, okay, that visualization exercise isn't
Hmm.
working for me today, so I'm going to try a different sort of meditation. Because
Yeah.
I think we get a lot of people who I speak to and meditate get a bit stuck
Hmm.
doing the same exercise or the same one or two or three exercises every time.
Yeah.
And to really be intentionally present, that has to change. You can't
Hmm.
always listen to the same person or the
No.
same YouTube video or do
Yeah.
this the same body scan. You have to mix it up a little bit.
as a kid, because my mum used to teach yoga, and
Yeah.
I remember going to a few of her yoga classes and seeing all these middle-aged women sat in a church hall in their yoga pants with their legs crossed and their hands on their knees,
Mm.
going om. And I'm sat at the back like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this. Like this is
Yeah.
boring. And that really kind of put me off. And I'm pleased that my mum was teaching it because then at home she'd do different meditations for us as kids. But that was just like, I want to
How
sit in a
wonderful to have a mum that could teach you that, though.
yeah. We were very lucky as children to have that experience.
Yeah.
Because I think I was quite a wild child and getting
No
me
way.
I know, shocking, right? But getting me to calm down was it was a job. I was either asleep or I was climbing up the walls.
Yeah.
And so meditation would help, but there was different forms, like there'd be reading meditation, there'd be movement, like dancing. They got me into dance really early because they found that calmed me down so much. And then I realized when I started teaching meditation myself that when I was dancing, I was going into a meditative state, and the repetition of movement and the muscle memory and all of that was just, it was a form of it. And
Yeah.
that to me was really powerful.
Well, dancing meditations go back, I think we touched on it in our last
Yeah.
podcast. They go back centuries, like the dance of the whirling dervishes, um, which is a dancing meditation, but walking meditations.
Yeah.
Buddhist monks very often do walking meditations. It doesn't have to be stillness. It can be stillness, but it doesn't have to be stillness. It's presence,
Yeah.
an awareness of who you are and where you are.
When looking back at the history of meditation, like it amazes me that there are so many cultures, and it doesn't matter where around the world, they all did the same thing. They looked inwards, whether that was compassionate, whether it
Mm.
was chanting, with mindfulness, the Christians with prayer.
Yeah.
I once had a really, oh gosh, it was this when I was in church, when I was a kid, the
Mm.
Catholics, I had
Yeah.
someone come up and say, "Oh no, well that's worshipping the devil, isn't it? All that chanting and that incense and that." And I was like, "Well, what do you do when you go to church? You light
Yeah.
your incense, you light your candles." You chant, you say the same prayer over and over again. You close your eyes and you look inwards at what you. That's meditation.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's,
But the point was
yeah.
that all of these cultures did the same thing. It was that act of looking inwards.
Doesn't matter and it all occurred. Oh, it's all occurred with synchronicity throughout
Hmm.
history. So the Christians were practicing meditation. The Incas were practicing meditation. You've got the Indonesian tribes practicing meditation. You've got Buddhist monks practicing meditation. You've got the Egyptians practicing meditation. It doesn't matter which ancient civilization you dig into,
Hmm.
there is a form of meditation that is practiced in pretty much every ancient civilization where there is record,
Yeah.
because they see it as beneficial to your well-being,
Hmm.
and a connection to your spiritualness. So whether you're trying to create a unity of one, whether you're trying to have some kind of manifestation, which is ultimately
Hmm.
what Christian prayer is,
Yeah.
it's a connection to spirit, a
Yeah.
connection that you are creating with you in the moment to that energy. And that's
Yeah.
excellent.
Connection. I like that. And connection's going to come up in so many of these episodes that we do.
Oh yeah.
Connection
You,
and intention is like the
you just can't
buzzwords.
escape it, can you? Connection and
No.
attention. It's everywhere we go. Uh,
Yeah. I think with my witchy roots as well, the connection to nature is such an important part of my life. And meditations for me can sometimes be going and sitting under a tree and just feeling the energy of that tree and connecting in that way. Or when I'm running, if I'm having a really difficult time, I'll go and run by a river and I'll feel the flow of the river and I'll connect in that way and meditate with that. Or just go and scream into the river.
Yeah,
That's like one of the things I love doing.
absolutely. Doesn't have to be quiet meditation.
No, no. And I think that connection with nature for me is one of the best ways of meditation. Planting something
Mm.
or sticking my hands in dirt. That to me is sacred. I love it.
Yeah, I love feeling sand between my toes.
Yeah.
Just so grounding. If I can get to by the sea to meditate,
Hmm.
that is always does something very special within my soul.
Yeah.
And you'd think I was a water sign, but I'm not. No,
Ah.
being by the sea is incredibly powerful.
I once messed up in a meditation. I was doing a one-to-one with a lady, and I thought, everyone loves the beach. I'll take her to the beach. We'll get her in the sea and the waves and get her relaxed and, the rhythms and working on that. And then pulled her out, made her sit by the sea and watch some stuff and then speak to her inner child. And I was like, great. Yeah, I've got it down. Then we came out and I looked at her and I noticed she was a bit wobbly. And I was like, are you all right? And she goes, no, I had loads of trauma as a kid in the sea. And I was like, oh no. Oh, no. So now before I do that meditation, I always ask people like, are you all right around water? Just
Yeah,
like I don't want to traumatize you.
yeah.
But yeah, no, the beach is such I think the rhythm of waves as well is just like so beautiful and that strength and the
Mm.
power of water. Like, yeah. Oh.
Something special. I think
Mm,
you can, if for those people who do perhaps don't like being around water, you can use air in the same way, like the rhythm of the wind in the trees or the
yeah.
grass can have the same effect. But
Yeah.
rhythm can be really important. I love meditating to some shamanic drumming or even some really banging drum and bass. Like
Yeah.
if I can get it so loud that I can feel the bass vibrating through me,
Yeah.
even though that's really loud music, that can actually bring about a meditative state in me.
Yeah. So it brings back, it doesn't have to be quiet, does it?
No, it does
Meditation,
not
because
have to be quiet. It can be loud.
yeah, because which state is it? Hold on, where is it? Oh, it's the alpha state. So the 8 to 12 hertz. So the alpha state of the brainwaves.
Mm.
That's where you've got relaxed wakefulness. And there's things like binaural beats and that help get you into that state, which is just so beautiful. And that rhythm and that yeah, there's something about it that I used to revise to binaural beats,
Did
and that
you?
yeah, that used to really help my
Yeah.
memory. If you put words to it, no, but
No.
but the
I,
beats
I
itself,
I used to revise to music as well when I was doing like my GCSEs. It was Fatboy Slim back then,
brilliant. Yeah,
but I guess by doing that, you're kind of breaking out of the default mode network within the brain,
mhm,
aren't you? So what
yeah,
you're doing is you're bringing yourself back from that mind wandering state,
mhm,
which actually can trigger a lot of anxiety and depression because spending too much time in
yeah,
that space can be a contributory factor to
yeah,
anxiety and depression. And if you're autistic or have ADHD, then you're more likely, the reality is you are more likely to struggle with anxiety and depression than a neurotypical person. That's
yeah,
documented fact. So if you can bring yourself away from the mental busyness, you
yeah,
actually improve your mental health.
yeah. And it's back to how we started with like it's not the ability of calm when meditating;
Mm.
it's the awareness in real life that it can if you can connect the two then that's great and bring that into your everyday life.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
going back, they actually, I mean, schools have come so far, but they're still wanting, in my opinion, in actually teaching children how to be. human beings rather than
Yeah.
just teaching them to pass exams.
Hmm.
And but so in the 1400s, they used to teach silence. That was a lesson
Yeah.
for, it
Wow.
would have been boys at that time. Girls wouldn't have been going to school in the 1400s, but it was a lesson
Yeah.
in spending time with yourself so
Hmm.
that you could be more powerful in the next lesson
Yeah.
because you'd had that silence time to refocus in on yourself.
Yeah. They say that as well about like people who've gone through a lot of trauma. They
Mm.
tend to try and keep their lives really busy,
Yeah.
but they don't have to sit with the silence
Mm.
and that kind of introspection. And oh gosh, I think though, if someone had tried to make me sit in silence as a kid, I would have erupted. But
Yeah.
maybe that's what I needed was that training at a young
Maybe it's a
age.
skill that you have to learn. I'm not saying we
Yeah.
just shut them all in a room and go, shh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But by teaching that that moment of being present, like
Yeah.
you can have 5 minutes without all of your devices in front of you
Yes.
and just organize yourself
Hmm.
within yourself.
Yeah. I
Take
was
a breath.
feeling really
And
overwhelmed earlier because there's a lot going on right now. And I was like, right, I need hammock time. That's what I need. So I went and led in my hammock and I was like, right, I'm going to read my book and that'll help because I'll just focus. And the words started swimming around the page and I was like, oh no, this isn't the focus that my mind needs. So I led there and I started looking at a flower and the way that the petals were formed and the color and the like the shapes and all of that. And then my brain just started to slot things into place about what I was anxious about and what was overwhelming me. And I'd managed to put a plan in place just from looking at the petals of this flower, just from taking a couple of minutes. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe practice what I preach and do that every day.
yeah, just take a
But
minute.
I
Because I
think,
think that's the hardest thing is you think, oh, I must meditate, but where am I going to fit that in?
hmm,
And that's a bit of a challenge in busy lives, and I certainly recognise that. But again, I think that's a really big misnomer that you have to spend half an hour or an hour meditating. I think
yeah,
it's like brushing your teeth. I think rather than trying to do a big one hit once at the weekend, a
yeah,
couple of minutes every day or a couple of times a day is probably the way to do it. It's easier
yeah,
to do it because you can just slot it in while you're doing the washing up. You know,
yeah,
think about the smell, the bubbles on your hands, how they move. Can you
yeah.
hear the little popping noise as the bubbles burst?
One of my favorite ones to do with clients is making a cup of tea because it's
Yeah,
something that every Brit knows how to do and they know the exact order and it's the ceremony and it's such a cultural thing. So I try and do this with most clients is okay, so we think about getting the kettle, filling it up, the sound of the water, the feel of the tap, the change in weight, and then, watching it boil and the steam, and then pouring the smells and the color change and the milk. And that just such a simple thing that we do automatically, just breaking that down can be so powerful. And that's like, what, 5 minutes?
yeah.
5 minutes of your day that you can do on a lunch break. Or, it doesn't have to be, as you said, half an hour sitting in the dark in silence doing doing meditation. Because who has time for that?
I don't. I don't. And quite honestly, I'd get bored of myself.
Mm,
And then I'd start getting fidgety because my brain would be like, oh, you need to be doing this now, you need to be doing that now.
yeah,
So I do think just taking a couple of minutes is sometimes just enough.
yeah,
And when we're ready at the end of the session, I will just do like a 5 minute meditation that kind of pulls in elements of like physical movement and breath intention and noise all together. in one
Brilliant.
meditation. So you can see like, oh, there's bits and pieces in here that work for me or don't work.
Love it. Yes, I'm so excited. I've never done one of your meditations before. I can't wait.
Oh, well, it'll be a treat. But
Oh,
sometimes I think it's we make as humans we make things more complicated for ourselves than they actually need to be.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's so much beauty in the simple things with meditation that can then lead to like some really powerful experiences.
Mm,
Because when we said we were going to do this podcast episode, I was like, right, sit and think about what I've actually used it for. And there's been just the moments where physically I needed to, lower my breathing rate, that get everything calmer, all that kind of, that body stuff. But then also there's been times where I've used it to connect with spirit guides or do deity work. When I'm doing house clearances or things like that, when I'm working with Anubis, I
yeah,
like to meditate and just get Anubis and his little clan in and just wipe the house.
yeah,
But it's that meditation beforehand and that respect of, I'm not going to come to you with my busy brain.
yeah.
I'm going to come to you with clear head, with clarity, and with intention, because that's not what you deserve.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's one of my favorite things at the moment is connecting with deities through meditation.
So what are your top tips for like people who want to connect more spiritually or with
Yeah.
spirit guides through meditation? What would you say helps
Okay.
you?
Yeah. So I think setting up your space is really important because, as you said earlier, maybe some people aren't a visual kind of person. Maybe it's the senses that work. So making sure that you've got like a candle that's lit, because that's a really good way to start
Mm,
ceremonies with
that's
lighting a
sure.
candle. Yeah. You can't have a half lit something, can you? So lighting this, it's on fire, and then maybe some incense and getting the space because I think one of my past lives was in Egypt, and the smell of the incense is really like powerful to me. And then kind of sitting and thinking about your intention. What is it that you want? We're going to be really clear with it because that's we're not going to come with any disrespect. What do I want from this session? And that's that focus, isn't it? And then closing your eyes and focusing on the breath. And there's this breathing technique that I learned where you take two breaths in and one breath out.
Mm,
And if you do that for a minute or two, that gets you into that theta state quite quickly. And then it's sitting and calling in who you want. So Anubis is one that I've worked with quite a lot recently because our house gets a bit funky sometimes with all the little ghosties that come in from it's like a beacon, our house. Everything just comes into here. Yeah, and then asking them. I never and maybe this is just a personal thing. I will never bow down to a deity. I will ask to work with them as a
oh yeah.
partnership, but I will never like bow down and, I might give them a little offering afterwards to say thank you.
Oh.
But yeah,
You
like,
should always be thankful and there should always be gratitude. But yeah, you're meeting them as an equal. So
yes.
why would you bow down? And I guess I personally believe that giving over to control, whether it's a deity or
Mhm.
a spirit guide or whoever you happen to meet, giving over control to a spirit guide or a spiritual being is
Mhm.
potentially a little bit dangerous. That's when you
Yeah.
get into or there's the ability for dark things to happen. And that's
Mhm.
very different to surrendering to spirit. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
It's intention and permission, isn't it?
yeah,
That's what it is. So
it's I'm going to
yeah.
work with you
Yeah.
for the greater good, for the unity of one and
Yeah.
surrender, but I am not allowing you to just do your bidding through me.
No.
There's a difference.
Yeah, and there's that protection as well, which I didn't mention, is thinking about like I like to think about a hood that goes over. So I'm always covering the back of my neck
Yeah.
because I think when you pray and stuff like that, you're opening a portal at the back of your neck. That's a very sensitive part. So it's like thinking of that light around you and things like that and protecting yourself properly before you do any deity work or spiritual connection. And it's being really clear, yeah, clear with the intention. And then you thank them afterwards. And then you close the session. And when I first started doing this, I was really bad at forgetting to close. So I'd just be like, job done, off I go, walk, walk, walk. Like, I wouldn't close sessions and I'd be wondering why. I'd be walking around the shops after, like, why am I still channeling stuff? Like, oh, so that can lighting the candle and then blowing a candle out at the end of a connection and things like that. That's really important. Or washing your hands.
Mhm.
It's because you're in your physical body then, aren't you? You're bringing yourself back to reality.
Mhm.
But yeah, that I've really enjoyed doing that kind of work recently. Yeah, and you get so many, you can get messages, you can get premonitions, you
Mhm.
can ask for things that you like in life, like guidance. So there's so much you can do with spiritual connection with meditation. Yeah, yeah. Past life regression, that's one that I want to work on next. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's a topic for another day. That's a big topic in itself, past life
Yeah,
regression.
yeah. Because I've just had my Akashic records read properly by someone, and some of the stuff that's come up has been incredible. So, you just get that bug and you're like, I want to do it now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Patience.
patient.
Patience. And that's what spirit often teaches, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
patience. And that's why we need to meditate to learn to be patient.
yeah,
The
yeah.
human condition is not to be patient because that's we have a physical chemical response, don't we, in our adrenal glands that
Mhm.
makes us impatient.
Well, it's kind of what we were talking about before we started recording. And we were saying about when we get overwhelmed and our bodies are close to burnout, they will shut themselves down.
Mm.
So, like migraines and like
Yeah,
going blind with migraines and things, your
yeah,
body is physically saying no.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the computer won't load. You know, when like the computer's like, no, actually, you've got too many windows open, and I'm just not going to do anything. You can
yeah,
come back in half an hour. My body does that with migraines. It's like, no, 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 no. You're going
yeah,
to lie there in a dark room, do nothing, see nothing, hear nothing, speak nothing for the next hour.
yeah,
And
yeah,
even then, you're going to have to take it easy when the migraine passes because you're still going to feel wiped for the next 24 hours. But
yeah,
we are gonna, if you don't look after yourself, we
yeah.
will hit the pause button for you.
This is your penance for not
Yeah,
listening.
you
We will
didn't
turn you
listen
off.
again, Zoe. Doom.
Yeah,
Just going to unplug you for a little bit.
yeah, absolutely.
I was listening, honest, I was. I'll do better next time. Please take the headache away.
That's it. Is that bargaining, isn't it? I will do better next time. I promise. Next time comes around like you didn't learn, did you?
Yeah, my spirit guide's there like that.
Like this again. Oh my God.
I swear sometimes my spirit guide's there with a cigarette and a glass of wine, like,
Off she goes.
bloody hell, Zoe.
Oh, one of my guides is this little old Indian lady and she's lush. And she has this wooden stick. And I can tell when I'm pissing her off because the stick gets.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Lara, concentrate, listen.
I have an old male African spirit guide who's the same, and I suppose he's best encapsulated in the Disney film as the monkey Rafiki. And my spirit guide has that kind of personality. He's very straight talking. He has a keen sense of humour, and I can feel him if I get a bit out of line, clock me around the back of the head with his stick, like,
Yeah.
come on, you know better than that. Stop acting up. Get on with it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, maybe we can do an episode on spirit guides and things like that, because
Yeah.
that would be really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our different spirit guides and other people's spirit guides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the difference between spirit guides and higher self, because that can be very confusing.
Yes. Well, I think if when I was younger, if I'd been taught stuff, well, you just don't get taught stuff like this. But I think that's why now with like my godchildren and stuff like that, I'm introducing things like
Mm,
questions and ideas to them to be like, think about it. Like, think for yourself. Don't just listen to what they tell you at school. Like, ask the questions. If you're curious about something, stick your hand up.
mm.
Like, the schooling system is the way the schooling system is, but you don't have to listen.
Yeah, you can make your own mind up about certain things, can't you? They
Mm.
have to teach a certain curriculum, and I get that.
Yeah.
And every child should learn to read and write and be able to do maths because you need to be able to do that to survive in a
Mm-hmm.
human way. Because we all, whether whether we like it or not, sometimes we have to keep the meat suit alive, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I need
Absolutely.
a roof over my head and food on my table, and I need to be
Yeah.
able to earn money
Yeah.
to be able to sustain the
Hmm.
humanness of my existence. And school will help you do that. It
Yeah.
absolutely has its place in helping you maintain the humanness of your life.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not just about the humanity of
No.
your life. There is much more out there.
Mm.
And I think it's beneficial for children to be allowed to explore that at an early age.
Yeah.
Um, and I suppose I was, in that my dad was Christian, so exploring spirituality was open to me, but
Hmm.
it was within the confines of that prescribed religious program,
Yeah.
um, which isn't necessarily wrong. It just wasn't entirely the right thing for me.
Yeah. Oh, I think being able to take up space at a young age and knowing that you can,
Mm,
and knowing that you can ask questions. Because as a kid, I used to like to ask questions, and I
yeah.
think I've mentioned it last time that I said I believed in reincarnation when I was little. And she was a family friend as well, who was a supply teacher at the Catholic school I went to, turned around and told me I was going to hell.
Mm.
And that to me was like, well, what a stupid thing to say to a child. Even as a kid, I was like, that's not right. You can't.
Well, and I was naturally curious as a child, and I still am, and would ask a lot of questions. But I had it trained out of I had asking questions trained out of me at school because I think I talked about last time how I can't read people's emotions. So at a very young age I started reading people's energy. That
Yeah,
was how I kind of survived through school as a non-neurotypical person. And I could tell when I was probably by the time I was about 8 or 9 that I was really irritating my teacher by asking questions continuously.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to sit at the back of the class and shut up. So I sat at the back of the class and started braiding my hair. And it was during a particular history lesson that I was braiding my hair. And she came over and she chastised me for braiding my hair. You're putting off the other students and you should be concentrating. I was like, well, ask me questions about the topic we've been learning. We've just been talking about Romans. And she asked me questions and I could answer every single one of the
good.
questions.
Yeah.
Um, and she was like, well, you still have to stop it because you're putting off the people around you. And it's like, well, I irritate you if I ask questions. I irritate you if I sit here quietly.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, from a very young age, just kind of was at a loss as to what it was that was expected of me.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I'm
And
gonna
so then
upset
you
you no
just
matter
stop
what.
asking questions. You stop being curious. You stop turning up as your whole self.
Yeah.
Turn up as this cookie cutter version of
Hmm.
student Zoe.
Hmm. Well, they say the it's like trying to get an elephant to climb a tree or a fish to climb a tree. Like they're not designed to
Einstein
do that.
energy. Yeah,
That's not,
yeah.
yes, they, yeah,
If you constantly judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it
that's
will
it.
always think it's a failure. I think it was Einstein, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, look at me absolutely butchering that. Like,
No, I think it. I think it. But if you hadn't have said it, it wouldn't have brought it to mind for me. But I think that was Einstein.
yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, school is great. It just for teaching you how to survive as a human on a human plane. It
Mhm.
will not teach you how to keep your soul alive,
Yeah.
or at least that's my view.
I agree with you on that. And
If,
we've,
if all you want in life is to keep the meat suit alive, well, then there's a place for you.
yeah, yeah, there we go. And we've done that neuro spicy thing of being like, this is what we're going to talk about, and then just go, whoop.
Yeah, sorry, I went off topic.
No, I started it. It was brilliant.
So it's the mental skiing. I kind of start at the top of the mountain, but as I get to the bottom, like I'm off slaloming in all sorts of directions.
Oh dear. So
But we,
I was thinking earlier from I can't remember the name of the book now. I'll put it in the description when we upload
yeah.
this. But it's a book on um the seventh sense
Mm,
and how when we see things, our brains are so clever that we're seeing this image and this object, and it's not putting it in our minds, it's putting it out of our bodies and in the world. And that made me like think about how with meditation, we're taking things that we see out in the world and putting them back in our bodies. So
mm,
it's the complete opposite of what we do when we're alert and we're awake. And I just thought that was absolutely fascinating, the ability to take the outside and put it in, and then to process that into something that's going to help calm you down or connect you to other things. But the name of the book has completely gone from my mind, which is really helpful.
But that's true, isn't it? I mean, we spend our entire lives pretty much training our bodies and training intellect. But how
Mhm.
much time do we spend training our attention and
Yeah,
sense of self?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because we don't do that. We don't teach that.
Hmm.
And meditation is less about changing the world around us and more changing how we experience it. And the only
Yeah,
way we can change it, how we experience it, is by looking within. Because
yeah,
ultimately, all we have control over is ourselves.
hmm,
Everyone likes to feel like they're in control of their lives. You're not.
no,
You're not.
no,
Bullshit. Nobody's in control.
no.
No,
It's the
nobody's
tower
in
card.
control. Yeah, it's just nobody is ever in control. The only thing you are in control of is your own decision making
Hmm.
and your reaction when things
Yeah,
happen. They're the two things you're in
mhm,
control of.
yeah,
That's it.
hmm, yeah.
Any other sense of control is a complete fallacy.
Hmm. And I think from having like severe trauma,
Mm,
that sense of control was a huge thing in my life for a while. And as I said, like with meditation, being able to get that trauma out of my body and making my body feel safe, I was able to be like, well, I can't control anything.
no.
But what I can remember is that I am safe, that my body is safe, and that no harm is going to happen to me. And it's that stopping the control that actually gave me more control, which is
You took control in a situation that was incredibly difficult, and I think I've not in the same situation, but I've had a abusive relationship previously, and I found a lot of strength in eventually taking control of the situation.
yeah,
Took me a while to do it,
yeah.
but actually, when I did start taking control of the situation, the person really hated it
They do.
in
Yeah.
a way that I hadn't anticipated.
Hmm.
And there'd be conversations like, you think you're this big, strong woman now,
God.
you know,
Yeah.
actually, I am.
Fuck you, I
Actually,
am.
actually, I'm an intergalactic badass. So jog on.
Yes. But it takes that time and that awareness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To actually sit with yourself and be like, no, this is who I am. I'm
Yeah.
not listening to that. That's nonsense. Yeah.
That's not who I am. That's not why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what meditation gave me was that sense of self-awareness to then be able to action it.
Mm.
That's one of the things that I really, oh, I get on my pedestal about this, but I hate the people. No, hate's a strong word. I get really annoyed with people that are like, I'm just so aware. I'm just so aware of like this and that and myself and that. I'm like, great, good for you. Well done, gold star. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
You're so aware. What are you doing with it? They're like, oh, I'm supposed to do something with that. Like,
Yeah.
yes, life is not just sitting navel gazing. There's action. What happens after? Like, how do you connect that to your real life? Like,
And it's
yeah,
not a one and done exercise.
yeah,
Oh, I'm now aware.
yeah,
Well done. What? Okay. I've never. I have you met anybody that's fully ascended? Because I haven't. We're all continuously on that path.
yeah,
It's like playing Super Mario. Just because you got to level 10 doesn't mean that there's not another 30 levels for you to get through. So what do you
yeah,
get? Well done, you get to level 10, but you still got to complete level 11.
yeah. Oh God, there's so many things I'm gonna say that are gonna get me in trouble, but
You and me both. It's just my
it,
personal opinion, though, right? It should be the
yeah.
same as it's yours. Everybody has their own beliefs, and everybody's entitled to that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's the awareness brigade and also the people that preach love and light. Oh my God, that really
Yeah.
annoys me. Love and light is it's nice, it's lovely, but you can't live in love and light forever. The shadow work is like
The
way.
shadow work is where you discover yourself. The
Yeah.
the other thing that the one that bothers me, and I know we've talked about this before, is the people who say you have to do it this way. You have to be
Oh,
spiritual this way.
yeah. Hmm.
Do I? Now, I mean, part of me, because I'm neurosparkly, has PDA. And
Yeah.
so I have pathological demand avoidance. And so if somebody says you have to do it this way, my
No.
instant reaction is jog on. No, I fucking don't.
Yeah.
Even
Even if it's for your best interest and
if
it's
it's
gonna
in my best interest, I will still have that automatic reaction. If somebody says you must do this, I go,
Yeah.
no, I don't, because
Yeah.
that's just how I'm built. But I do think everybody has to find their own. We are all unique beings. We
Mhm.
all have completely unique DNA, and that is not for no reason. And
Yeah.
we all have to find our own path
Mhm.
back to the spiritualness of one in our own way.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the same. And anybody that's just trying to put rules around how to be spiritual or how to
Yeah.
meditate or how to do mediumship or how to do ritual practices, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that is just about trying to exert control
Mhm.
outside of themselves. And for me, that's a massive red flag. Like, if you're trying to tell me you have to meditate this way,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
why are you trying to control my meditation?
I had one client who came to me for some spiritual like development and counseling and I was like, "Great. Okay, let's go." And she was like, "Right, there's this goal and this outcome that I really want, but I've been told I have to do it this specific way." And she was talking about a ritual that she'd heard of. And she was like, oh, but, I haven't got the money to go and get this specific herb or this particular color candle. And I was like, okay. And I remembered that she had an issue with lifting her arm up in the air. Maybe I was a bit naughty for doing this. But I was like, oh, I can give you the best ritual for this. Are you ready? So you're going to light your candle. You're going to say this word 3 times, then you're going to spin around and you have to get your arm up right up in the air because if it's not right up in the air, it's not going to work. And then they were like, but I can't lift my arm. So I'm never going to get this to work. And I was like, what do you think if someone doesn't have an arm? Are they not going to be able to
Yeah,
get this? Like, it doesn't matter. The intention is the main thing, right? It's all about intention. So the color of a candle, whatever, the right herb, yeah, okay. Like
Yeah.
spinning and chanting, it doesn't matter. And
It's,
I was a bit naughty for that one.
but it's true, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
if it does it's just symbolistic of your intent. And as
Mhm.
long as you're setting the symbolism of your intent, you're setting your intent.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, it doesn't really matter because intent is intent.
Yeah. So the rules, when people try to put rules on it, it's just you're trying to control someone else, and that's not.
It's not okay.
No, no, no. Oh, bless her face when I said, and you've got to lift your arm up all the way. She was just like,
Oh,
what? No, being an idiot. Like, you're fine. Just chill out. Oh, bless her.
everybody's going to get there. No
Yeah,
one's going to be no toy left behind. Everyone's going to get there
yeah, yeah.
just in your own time, in your own way.
hmm And that's like with when we were saying at the start about the different styles of meditation. Like
Mm.
it's different for everyone. Sitting in a church hall and chanting is not my thing, but for someone that might be beautiful, that repetition and that, sense of community might be what they need.
Yeah,
For
or
me,
sitting in the space.
yeah.
Because sometimes when you sit in a church, particularly older churches, you can feel the air around you, can't you? Because
Mm.
of the moisture in the air and the dampness of the stone and the coolness of the environment. So sometimes I think your senses pick up on feeling like you're in a different place.
Yeah,
So that helps you feel differently about the meditation or the prayer that you're doing.
yeah, yeah,
But as you were saying about lighting a candle or smelling incense, for everybody has those different sort of triggers on their senses that make them feel different things.
but that's hilarious that I'm so against my Catholic upbringing. But then the thing that brings me the greatest comfort is lighting a candle and incense.
So,
And then,
because there are some things about that tradition
yeah,
that work. That's
uh-huh.
why that tradition and those practices have been going thousands of years. I personally believe that in most religions there is a lot of good. It's just
Yeah.
when they're used to exert control
hmm
and to instill fear,
Yeah,
that's when I think the tipping point comes where they become non-beneficial
yeah,
to the human race. But for the main part, they teach most, if you look at most religions broadly, they teach us to be kind. They teach us to
yeah.
think about the community of oneness and the greater good,
hmm
so to speak. Um, and they teach us to think beyond ourselves, but also care for ourselves and our loved ones. Well,
hmm
care for the planet and the environment. None of those are bad
No,
teachings,
no, no.
whichever way, whether you're Buddhist, Christian, Muslim,
Yeah.
whatever you want to label it.
hmm No, you're so right. You are so right. And once again, it's down to intention.
Yeah. What's your intent?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you start using the religion to start instilling fear and control, that's when I personally start to have
Yeah.
a,
Tap out then.
yeah, that's where I personally are like, no,
Yeah. Little
that's
Lara, you're going to hell. Okay, well, I don't agree with what you're saying then.
yeah,
Because no God that I know will send me to hell. Thank you very much.
no, no.
Dear.
And
Yeah.
there's light and dark in everything, right?
Mhm.
It's the universe has to have balance. There
Yeah.
is no way for life to exist without balance. Even within our own atoms, we've got positively and negatively charged atoms
Yeah.
throughout our whole body.
Yeah.
You can't have all positive.
Nope.
You have to have an equal amount of negative ions within the atom, otherwise it's unstable, and that's
Yeah.
where you get radioactive bombs from, right? That's why you have uranium. That's why they're unstable, because the positive neutron mix doesn't match the electrons.
Yeah. Yeah. The light and the
So
dark.
it creates a level of instability that the planet cannot hold, that
Yeah.
the universe cannot hold. So you have to have light and dark. So by telling you that dark is wrong, by telling you you can't do shadow work and
Oh,
learn from that side of yourself,
mm-hmm.
we all have an element of ego.
Yeah.
We all do. Nobody is
Yeah.
ego free.
Yeah.
We all get jealous.
Yes.
Let's look inside ourselves and really appreciate, okay, well, what does that mean for me and how do I work with it so
Hmm.
as it's beneficial for me and those people around me?
That's one of the things is the trauma cycle.
Mm,
So the trauma that happens to us is not our responsibility. Sometimes it was put on us in situations that we had no control over. But then what we do have control over and what is our responsibility is how we recover from that.
yeah.
And then we don't, carry it on to someone else. So it is getting from the darkness, from the shadow work, positives from it. So this happened to me. I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to take responsibility for part of what happened, for putting myself in that situation or whatever.
Mm,
And then I'm going to work on that and to find the positives. So it is finding that homeostasis and that balance.
mm,
Um,
absolutely.
and I
There
bloody
are
love
only two
shadow
things
work.
you have control over.
Yeah, exactly.
Your decisions and how you react to things. That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Ah,
Well, I feel like we've talked a lot. So maybe we should think about if you've got any sort of closing thoughts or tips for anyone, and then because you're the neuroscientist here, like how can I best keep my brain healthy? Um,
yeah. Well, there's actually, um, I can't remember how many hours it is, but there's a certain point in sleep where your brain cleans itself.
wow.
Yeah, it's your glymphatic system, and it takes away all the toxins and the cellular buildup. So it is important to get your brain into those states so that it can clean itself. But I mean, I don't think you go around with a dirty brain, but stinky brain syndrome.
I
Maybe
don't
that's
know.
what
I
we'll
think there
call
might
it.
be a few people, Lara, who have stinky brains.
Stinky brain.
I think I've met one or two people with stinky brains during the course of my lifetime. Now I know it's they're not getting enough sleep, so as their
That's what it is.
lymphatic system can clean their brain, and I can be empathetic towards them.
They now suffer with stinky brain syndrome.
You've got an unclean brain.
Yeah. But I think giving yourself that downtime and that focus, it will help with emotional regulation and cleaning your brain and calming your nervous system, which will then lead to things like, better digestion, mental clarity, getting rid of brain fog, being able to focus, being kinder to others around you. There is so much benefit that comes from that. And then you get to do the fun stuff once your body's regulated. You can then, move on, or you can do it at the same time, but more fun spiritual sides of things, right? Like contacting deities and like all that kind of stuff.
That's all
So,
fun.
yeah. And explore, be curious, don't be told right or wrong. And like curiosity, I think that's one of my favorite things
Mm.
is, just giving it a go. Don't be scared of it. Yeah, because yeah, life's for living, isn't it? So
Oh
just give it
yeah.
a go. Don't be scared of meditation. Do what feels right for you.
And try different things. Like if one thing doesn't work, don't I think that's my top tip. If one
Yeah.
thing doesn't work, don't think, oh well, meditation doesn't work for me. You've tried one thing.
Yes, absolutely.
There's lots of
Going.
different ways to
Yeah.
meditate. And if someone's really struggling, they can always reach out to us, drop some comments in with what they're struggling with, and we can
Yeah.
provide some specific tips or advice. But try doing it differently.
Hmm.
Again, another Einstein quote. Then the definition of madness is doing things the same and expecting a different result.
Mhm.
If it didn't work like that last time, do it differently next time.
Yeah.
See if it works differently.
See, I was going to butcher that quote. You could see it going in my head, and I was like, no, that's not how it's good. It's an elephant climbing a tree.
Yeah, anyone would think I was psychic, Lara.
Shocking.
Shocking. got that. Can't read body language, but I can read what you're thinking.
Yeah.
We all learn to survive in different ways, though. It was a
Yeah.
coping mechanism, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited about this meditation because I've never done
Well,
one.
now it feels like I'm on a stage, like there's high expectations.
Of course.
It's just going to be a really simple exercise, a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of visualization, a little bit of breathing, some very simple movements.
Fabulous.
And it's just about being present with yourself for a few minutes. So
Amazing.
get yourself comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. If you want to sit on the floor cross-legged, then do. If you're sat in a chair, I'd recommend if you've got shoes or slippers on, taking them off. You don't necessarily need to keep your socks on, but just so as you can feel the floor beneath your feet. And we're just going to start by being really intentional with our breath. Slowly in through our nose and out through your mouth. And it doesn't matter if your breath doesn't keep pace with mine. What we're really looking for is for the in-breath to be slightly shorter than the exhale. You might notice certain smells around you. You might notice how the air feels as it enters your nose. Does it feel cold? Can you feel it rushing into your lungs with all of that nourishing oxygen? And as we breathe out, we're letting go of all of the energy that's held up within our body. Sometimes you might even see like the cloud coming out from you as you blow that negative energy away. Letting go of that build-up. Things that no longer serve you. We're going to go down to our feet as we continue to breathe. Scrunch our toes up tight and release. Feel them supported by the floor underneath you. And all of the muscles beginning to relax as you let that tension from your toes to your heel drift away. Continuing to breathe. Bringing your attention up to your legs, your lower calves. Muscles starting to feel buttery and soft. In your thighs, all of your leg muscles, supported by the chair or the floor underneath you, melting away. Into our hips, our lower back. Often the trunk and the support for our entire body works hard for us. We thank it and we allow it to take a small break. Yes. Moving up from our tummies, where we often take our nutrition, get our energy. Just allow that part of our body to slow down. Continuing to breathe into our chest, particularly focusing on our spine, in that area between our shoulders where we carry the stresses and strains. Down into our arms. Scrunch up our hands. Notice how tense they feel. And release. Feel that energy drifting away to our necks. Give your head a small sway, side to side, helping to release our tension. And feeling every muscle completely relax, like warm butter melting. Our cheeks, eyelids, knowing it is letting our tensions really focus right in 3, 1. As we breathe, we feel a light. We see a light come down. Beautiful golden strand coming down from the sky, touching the crown of our head. It is a healing light. It's down to our crown, fills up our bodies, and then goes down, down through our feet, down into the earth below, connecting us to the earth and to Mother Gaia. We sit feeling the warmth of that light and its peace. Radiating through our bodies. We then begin to notice the light breaking through at our heart space. Bring our palms together at our heart space. As the light begins to shine brighter and brighter, we push our arms up to the sky, with our palms together, and bring our arms back down to the side, sharing the love light from within us to everyone within our connection karma. As we sit, we feel that energy. You may feel it through your crown, through your feet, tingling your skin. Maybe you feel a vibration. Maybe you have just a knowing. But you sense the power of you. Where you are. Right here. Right now. Bring back into ourselves, raising our arms up to palm of our head. Inhale and exhale, bringing the palms back down to our heart space and bringing that love light back within. We allow the light to come back up from our feet, back up through our bodies, back up through our crown, and return to source with gratitude and thanks for being with us. As we begin the end of our journey, we're going to breathe in the biggest breath we've taken all day. This time, we'll expel it quickly, like a hot balloon. So when you're ready, breathe in. Out. In. Feel the energy burning in my belly. And when you're ready, bring yourself back to the room that you're sat in with gentleness and kindness for yourself. Ready to take on the next challenge for the day.
Oh, love it. Oh, thank you, Zoe. That was
Oh,
lush. That was so good. Well, meditation done for today.
yeah, box ticked.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. I really like the breathing that you used at the end.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
And you know, that can actually be a good one to do with children. Imagining that they've got a balloon in their belly, they can pick the colour of the balloon and
Yeah.
blowing the balloon up and then
Ah,
popping the balloon. Can be quite, because children, particularly younger children,
yeah.
sometimes need those visual prompts.
Yeah. Oh, that was lush. Brilliant. Thank you.
Energizes you.
Yeah.
So meditation can be energizing as well as relaxing.
Yeah. Well, I am ready for chocolate in bed now. My brain is like, it's lush. Oh, thank you, Zoe. That was lovely.
No, thank you. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Yeah. And if anyone's got any questions, as you said before, about meditation or they'd like any guidance, just drop a comment below. And if they've got anything that they'd like us to talk about as well,
Yeah.
because you can clearly see that we'll talk about anything. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't expect us to stay on topic, mind, just because you've requested something. We
yeah.
will. We will go off on the Lara Zoe frequency
Uh,
down a rabbit hole and back round.
yeah. We'll get back eventually. That's all
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time today, Zoe.
Thank you too, Lara.
Bye.